Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here, so pleased you found me. Today we're going to make a smell the flowers soap. So I hope you enjoy what you see. We have our oils here already, we have our colours here over to the other side, and what I'm now going to do is panic because I don't have my stick blender ready. 2 seconds. Here we go. Stick blender at the ready. That would have been rather a fail, would it not? Anyway, let's carry on. I'm going to strain the lye because there's a tiny weeny little bit of lint on the top, but not massive amounts. So whereas ordinarily some people might put it down the stick blender, I just very carefully pour it in through this ingenious little strainer. I just love it. It's actually meant for tea, but that's the great thing about soap making. You can use all sorts of stuff for completely and utterly different things. Your mind gets very creative. Okay. There we go. Give that a small stir. Now, this is only 1 loaf, so not a great amount of oils. In grams, it's 1049, I think. I think in ounces, it's 37 ounces. We're doing 2 loaves today, but 1 loaf in this video. And to the stick blending we go. Okay. It's a very small amount of soap, so it doesn't need a huge amount of stick blending. It's also well, the way I'm doing it, I'm doing a layer at the bottom and I want that to set up a little bit. So I don't want my other soap to set up before the green. So let us begin. It's probably just past trace, but I don't want it much farther than that because I'm going to stick blend this green for, okay, so I'm going to go with just that much. I'm not even sure I'm going to need to stick blend this, I might just stir it in. I love this green. It's called Emerald Shimmer and it's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the fragrance oil in, and then I am going to stick blend it the very slightest, and that will be our base layer for the soap today. It quite terrifies me sometimes when I start making this soap. I do love it, I enjoy it so much, but there's always that sense that something terrible is going to go wrong. And it's funny, isn't it, because we're so scared of failure as human beings. We're so scared of messing up because we have this thing in our mind that if we mess up, it's the end of the world. And it never is. I've made soap before and it's not come out the best, let's be honest. And okay, I'm going to give this a wee blast. Thickening up nicely there. It's come out terrible. Some of my soaps have come out terrible, or have not come out the way I wanted them, or have been disappointing. But had I not made them, I would not have learned anything at all. And I think sometimes it's a little bit sad that so many people stop themselves from trying because they're scared they'll make an absolute mess of whatever they're doing. By the way, this is lemongrass and coconut and it smells absolutely amazing. So, in we go. Pouring this layer in. I'm using the spatula just to reduce the chance of bubbles, but in honestly, once you tap it down, you know, the bubbles pop ordinarily themselves. Now it's only a very thin layer. You're probably thinking, goodness me, that's not an awful lot of soap. But it's not meant to be an awful lot of soap. It's meant to be a very thin layer at the bottom. And these loaves are very tiny. You're lucky, I think, sometimes, if you get the full 10 bars out of them. If you've not got embeds, then you get the 10 bars out of them. But when you're working with embeds, whichever way you want to say it, it's very tricky because you have to get in all the corners, please. Thank you very much. You have to get your soap cutter lined up. You have to make sure you don't chop off or up your embeds, which, you know, would be a disaster. So that's the green in. I actually need that to set up a little bit. I'm going to scrape those edges because I don't want the green messing up the rest of my colours, although the rest of the colours are quite dark, so it will be fine. And I'm going to flatten that up a little bit to get settling already, which is fabulous because I really wanted to. It doesn't need to be super flat. And for those of you who have seen my other videos on Facebook, you may notice the rather strange table that I'm using today. Well, this is the joys of soap making, because you don't need to go out to IKEA and buy the most expensive equipment. This is a hockey table, which you might notice if you see the rings underneath. This hockey table was bought about, good grief, I can't tell you how many years ago it was bought, for my boys when they were far smaller, and still we're here, which one of them is no longer. Because he moved to England. And I used the other white table, which was perfectly fine, but it was quite low. And I'm no spring chicken, and my back gets really sore. So if you see my other videos and you're kind of going, what on earth has she got on this table? It's simply a hockey table covered with those little tablecloths you get from the pound shop, or if you're watching this in America, probably likely called the dollar store. We don't have dollar stores here, it's a pound shop. But they're great and very easy to use. So that is almost already setting up, which is brilliant. That is going to one side, and I'm going to give this soap another wee stir, because there's lots to do with this loaf. We have a drop swirl, and then we have a column embed, and then we have little tiny flower embeds. So yeah, lots to do. So yeah, it saddens me when I think of people who will not do, or well, not necessarily not do, but certainly miss out on a great part of their lives, or the potential that they might have, because they're frightened to death of messing up. But you know, when you think about it, we all messed up, because how many times did you fall down when you were a baby, when you were learning to walk? I can't tell you how many times, because, you know, I can't remember that far back. But I can tell you something, it was more than 1,000, maybe more than 5,000, who knows? I mean, goodness gracious me, how many times have you watched a baby, your baby, somebody else's baby, shuffle along on their bum, grab hold of a chair, a cushion, a table, get themselves to standing on their fat, chubby, wobbly legs, and teeter. Take 2 steps and then plonk right back on their bum again. We all do it. I don't know any miracle babies that were born walking. I don't know any miracle babies who walked on their first attempt. I certainly don't know any miracle babies who've never fallen over whilst attempting to walk. So why do we, when we get to this, you know, our older years, suddenly think that we need to be perfect at everything all of the time? The expectations that people have on themselves is so hard, and it's kind of a bit sad, I suppose. It saddens me that people don't see how much they can do with their lives. We're now ready with our lovely pink. I just added a wee bit of white in there because it's called Red Riot and I don't want it red, I want it pink. So here we go with our lemongrass and coconut smell, which is delicious. I'm going to give that a quick stir, and I might give it another blast with the stick blender, because I actually do think that the lemongrass kind of thins the batter a little bit, and I don't want either soaps to be super thin, otherwise we're not going to get very distinctive drop swirl, and we'll just have a mishmash of purple and pink rather than distinguished purple and pink. Okay, so let's go from lightest to darkest, give this a wee blitz and see what it turns out like, because oftentimes when I added titanium dioxide, which is like a whitening, and when you add it, unless it gets blended, you can't really give the true colour, so now this is probably going to be too pale. Oh no, it's fine. There we go, thicken it up now. Okay, too much, nearly, maybe. Stop. Do the same with the purple. Yep, loads. Okay. So where were we? Oh yes, getting off your bottom and going and doing something that terrifies the absolute bejesus out of you. Excuse my French. But truly, you've only got a small amount of time on this earth. Not that I'm, you know, attempting to be dire or terrible or morbid or anything, but you do. You really do. Why on earth would you want to spend it hiding behind the sofa or your phone or the TV or name your thing? Why would you want to hide away instead of living this amazing life that you have the potential to live? There's so much out there to see, there's so much out there to enjoy, there's so much to do, there's so much to learn. I would recommend anybody, just try. It doesn't matter if you mess up. It really does not matter if you mess up. It's not the end of the world. I've done it. Lots of other people have done it before me. I will mess up many times after this. Anybody who is successful in anything, not particularly talking about myself now, but anybody who is successful in anything, I can guarantee you, will have failed multiple times, because that's why they're successful. In fact, most successful people, I'm not talking about Elon Musk or some great big rich person. I'm talking about the average person who is maybe running a business, or is trying to lose weight, or is trying to get fit, or is trying to learn a new skill. They'll have failed many times before they'll have succeeded. That's just the way it is. Isn't that purple the most gorgeous colour in the world? It's got like a kind of wee swirl, and I don't know whether you can see that, but it does. Now, I don't know whether I would like that to sit up a little bit more, because it's a little bit too thin. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Life's an experiment. It's an absolute experiment, and what is the point of sitting on the sidelines when you could be out there having the best time? Truly, truly the best time. Okay, so I'm now going to, and even as I pour this in, there's a part of me going, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, because I don't know whether this is not going to be a disaster. So I'm going to do one down. Oh, actually, I think I might be safe enough. And up, and down, and up, and back down, and up. And maybe I might have done well with saving some more of my purple soap, but it's gone now. So, you know, there you are. Exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. The fact that I could have saved some purple soap. It might have made a difference. Who knows? But I will bet you the soap comes out amazing. And if it doesn't come out amazing, it'll come out interesting. There is the anticipation, I tell you, that you get when you put that soap on your soap loaf cutter, or if you're using a cheese slicer, or if you're using a knife, it doesn't matter. There are ways and means. Nobody has to go out and spend a huge amount of money to do this. But there is that anticipation and fear, I think, when you put that on the soap cutter and you go, oh my goodness, what is it going to look inside? Because you plan, but if it doesn't turn out the way you wanted, sometimes, you know, I've done it many times, it turns out better. It turns out better. With my duck soap, which has been my super, super popular soap, I've completely sold out. I've had to make another loaf recently. I couldn't have imagined it would have come out the way it came out. I wanted the green to be more defined. I wanted it to be thinner. I wanted it to be kind of tendrils of weeds. Oh, I've just realised that. You see? I'm going to tell you now. I have a butterfly to go in here. I have no idea where the butterfly is going to go, but I will show it to you now, and you will sense my holy moly. It'll be fine. Do you know what? If it spills over the edges, it'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen? So here is my column butterfly. It's the same thing as I did with the same kind of mould I used with the duck pond soap. Uses the same mould. So here we go. I'll try and get it in. Delicately, delicately, delicately. And as you can see, it kind of sinks all by itself. However, I'm not sure I want it any farther in than that. So I'm going to leave it alone. I might be able to bring you in closer, but see, I'm going to bring you in like this because I am now going to be putting on the flowers. Here we go. So here are my flowers. I made them earlier today. Embeds to go. So you might see my head here. I haven't really planned this on where they're going to go, so it's going to be a little bit willy-nilly, which, as I've already said, is probably the best way to be. A bit of willy-nilly, not that nobody ever. I might speed this part up because we could be here for a while. So, enjoy. So here we are, welcome back to the cutting. Everything has dried out quite well. We're still a little bit tacky, but I actually like cutting at that point. It's easier to do it. So this is just around about 24 hours after we have made the soap. This soap cutter is an absolute godsend. I love it to bits. So there we go. I don't need to line her up because we don't have any particular embeds. And down we go. Oh, she's slicing through so easily. I can't wait to see what the inside of this looks like. Oh no, we've lost one. Oh, we've lost two. Oh, we've lost a few. Oh, good grief. I'll have to see about fixing those back on. The joys of soap making. Oh, good fun. And down we go. Take our end pieces. And this is what we have on the inside. What do you think? We have a nice, that thin greens. This will likely darken a little, but there we have our soap. And every bar is different, always. That's pretty. I like that one. It's gorgeous. I love the purple colours. We have a little embed trying to escape here. Going to get rid of that one. Okay. Come, soap. I was worrying, if you remember, that I should have saved a little purple, perhaps to add on to the top. I'm actually now glad I didn't, because I kind of like the two, or the three if you count the green, the three separate colours. I think they look really distinctive, and I love the green against the purple. It's turned out really, really well. Thrilled to bits. So all my worrying, as I was saying to you earlier in the video, was a complete waste of time, as worrying often is. Even if they'd have turned out a complete disaster, I would have learned something. So, following on from what I said earlier, do try. Don't let fear of messing up hold you back. Don't let fear of making a mistake hold you back. It's just simply not worth it. Think of all the fun you'll miss out on if you let fear stop you from following your dreams. That is all for now. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you liked it, please subscribe, and there will be another one hopefully in a week. That's my plan, is to do one every week. So I'll see you the next time. Bye for now.